One Chance hit us and said, what if Clemson gets back to the standard they once had? Now, kids, if you're 8 years old, we make the show family-friendly enough where you can listen. So, little Teddy, riding around out there in Prescott, Arizona, thank you for tuning in. What is Clemson? What was Clemson? You're young. You're young. Welcome. Welcome to your life. There's no turning back, as Tears for Fears would say. But what was the Clemson standard for people like you who are unfamiliar? Being right there is the best program in the country. Right there alongside Alabama 10 years ago, give or take a few years, as being a 1A, 1B best programs in the country. And that was what they were. Now, they haven't fallen off a cliff. They've just fallen off a little bit. You know, they've come back to the pack a little bit. But this what if says, what if they return to that standard? You know, I'm really feeling this. I'm not ready to make predictions yet. But I am feeling, and have been feeling for a while, Clemson could be bottling up something special for this year. Now, here's the bonus. And this is worth a paper pop, I think. If you're still 8 years old listening, don't worry about all that. The bonus, as I wrote on this piece of paper here, is maybe B+ is good enough to win it all this year. So in other words, maybe Clemson's not right there on par with the 2015, 2016, 18 version of themselves, but maybe they're like a B+ in relation to that. Well, look around the country this year. Maybe there's not a 2015 Alabama, or maybe there's not a 2018 Alabama they have to be better than. Maybe there's just like a pretty good Alabama, or a pretty good Oregon, or a pretty good fill in the blank, Notre Dame. Maybe like a B+ version of Clemson relative to the standard is good enough. They are number one in returning production. In the ACC, no, in America, they return a ton. It's not a guarantee of anything. It is a guarantee that you've got a lot of consistency and continuity. You got a lot of guys who speak your language already. Clubbed at year 3 as a starter there, same offensive coordinator. That's a blessing. Oh, it's a blessing to have returning production and experience at quarterback with the same coordinator. Rare commodity this day and age. Wide receiver is the not-so-hidden story of this team because all the Clemson folks are talking about it, but I'm not quite sure if you live in Amarillo, Texas, if you're aware, Clemson once again has a top 5 receiver room in the country, and I saw certain friends of the program who shall remain nameless because they've been deadlifting too much on Instagram lately, claim that Clemson may have the best wide receiver room in the country this year. And even if he's wrong. Hey, quick timeout. Check and see if you're subscribed to the YouTube channel. If you're not, I humbly ask that you click subscribe. It's free. It doesn't sign you up for anything. What it does is it helps us keep this show free so we can just do college football year round. All right, back to the clip. They're up there. And that has been a drought. That room's been in drought for quite a while. And that right there, that room was dominant when they were at their best. But think about the defensive talent here. This depth chart in front of me, T.J. Parker at edge, Peter Woods, you got Brown and Woodaz at linebacker, Avion Terrell at corner. Could very well be one of the best teams in the country. Staff and organization, I don't think, if you've been paying attention, you can deny that they've leveled up there. You could watch running back during spring. You could watch like the second corner position during spring. It's not a complete team. It's not a perfect team. But again, we're not looking at a superpower team anywhere entering this year. They do have, by our internal numbers, the second toughest schedule in the ACC. They play LSU and South Carolina to begin and end the season, but they could flat out win the national title this year. Any kind of doubt I've had about Clemson has been beyond 25, because 25 is set up for them. And you look at Klubnik, the way he played to end the year last year, the way he played, it gives you a lot of hope. The way he played against SMU, the way he played in the Texas game, even though they lost, gives me a lot of hope. Knowing what he's going to have around him this year, that, yeah, maybe they will. Maybe that what if does come to fruition.